Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.
Have started to absolutely bottom out. I mean, think about this. 1 month ago today, they were ranked number 10 in the country. They have lost 6 of 9 since. They lost to SMU today by almost 30 points on the road. They've dropped games to one tournament team after another. They're 6th right now in the AAC, RC. 6th in the AAC. Penny Hardaway's got one NCAA tournament win to his resume. This is year 6. I say it's time. I say it is time. Now, again, you know where I stand with these former NBA guys. I say it is time to cut the cord with the most beloved figure in Memphis Tigers history, who did a good job getting them back to respectability. Now it is time to hire somebody that can take them to the next level.
And I still think it's crazy. It's you may say it's one tournament win, but they've been to the tournament the last 2 years. I don't see any. If that's the standard, then we need to go down each Power 6 conference and look at resumes and start saying coaches need to get out of there. So, are you telling me you want more postseason success? I won't argue that. But when we're talking about this climate of changing and everything else, even though Memphis does have NIL money, they do have that. But the way he's choosing to do it, there's a lot of programs that are struggling to make that transition. So that'll trade and take what Penny's done so far. This year, I can't defend it. They've imploded. I mean, the way they look right now, Jeff, they gave up 106 points today. I've said it all year long. I mean, the last couple of games, they're not defending the way they were when I saw them early in the year. And I don't know what's going on that side of the ball. And if they're giving up 106, man, I can't defend it. But I will defend him in saying that I don't think he should be gone. I don't think it's anything like that. But the way that team's defending now, they've washed their tournament hopes down the drain, and they're heading south fast.
Can we start? Well, hold on. I'll line up. I'll talk Penny in a second, but can we start and give just a little bit of love to Rob Lanier? They got this thing rolling right now. Rolling. I think that's their 6th win in a row. And, and again, not always against top of the league, but they beat North Texas and they just, smoked Memphis. And they do have good NIL, but they're also trying to get ready for the ACC. And they have, I think when they got in there, I'm sure Rob and those guys were like, man, are we going to get the support? We're going into, a big boy league that's different. And again, I just want to make sure give that crew their due because they're doing a hell of a job. And they've done the opposite of Memphis, right? They've turned it and things are going downhill. And to your point, Jeff, okay, here's why I will agree with you. We can say this is about the new world order, okay? But for them, it's never been about NIL. They've had plenty of money, right? Most people think they were doing the NIL before
FedEx
NIL was legal.
FedEx money, right, baby.
Okay. Okay. Secondly, I'm going to be honest with you. I have no sympathy for Memphis. Okay. What they did to Tubby was wrong. Okay. Go back and actually look at what he did at Minnesota, what he did at Texas Tech. And he's too good a man to have treated that way and get undercut.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have no sympathy for their failures. But I also think that part of it is like, this is your statement is really the feelings of Memphis fans, right? You're acting right now kind of like a fanboy, whereas Randolph is pointing out like it's ridiculous. But that's Memphis. Memphis thinks all of the players that were born in the city limits are better than everybody else's, that they're somehow tougher than everybody else's, that they've cured cancer, and that because John Calipari could do it, right, anyone can in fact do it, and that's unacceptable. So ridiculous expectations for a program in a league that people are vacating. Now they should be much better because they have more resources
run the league.
than a lot of the teams.
They should be running the league.
No doubt. Okay.
They're 6th.
But I don't think, again, this is the deal you did with the devil. If you bring in Mr. Memphis and Mr. Memphis State, okay, you're going to have to give him more rope than you are anybody else. That's just the reality of it.
You know what?
Because this
is
what
I get the arrogance and the expectations, though. I get the arrogance and the expectations, but let's not act like he hasn't had some success in being. I mean, like again, I go back to the Ohio State
No, but I'm
argument.
saying,
We can't sit and argue like we talking about national championship.
No. I want you to make sure. I'm not saying the arrogance of Penny. There's a little bit of arrogance there, but that's not it. I'm saying the arrogance of Memphis fans and the expectations, right?
Yeah,
like,
I got you.
This stuff isn't easy.
I got
like you. They lost. Which game did they lose in the tournament that they very easily should have won? Was that last year or the year before?
FAU.
Had the game won. Okay.
That's
and FAU goes on to the Final Four. Now, I know when you lose to a team, it doesn't somehow validate you, because they go to a Final Four. There's a lot of other stuff. Okay. But the truth is, like, it's one play here and they end up beating FAU, and it's a completely different narrative. So I'm more with Randolph. It's bad, but just down the road, Arkansas is a dumpster fire, and they've been better in the tournament the last 2 years. So we've seen some of these implosions with some of these high-paid teams. I point out, UC Santa Barbara got a win yesterday. I point that out. They have the best and most fun. Like, Pasternak's done an amazing job with that roster, but there's something going on there where they're not dominating that league. So there are teams like this in just about every league. You're like, man, if you looked at the salaries there, they should be better than the
Miami. Miami's a team like that.
High
NIL money, and great postseason success.
They went to a Final Four and Elite Eight. They went to a Final Four and Elite Eight. So he can have a mulligan. He earned a mulligan. Musselman earned a mulligan. They've been to Elite Eights. Penny Hardaway has one tournament win, and they're not going to go to the tournament this year. To me, again, next year is the year. Next year's the year. You can flip it quickly. With NIL. So now, and again, you brought in Slick Rick, and he brought you talent. But it's been like Jordan Brown leaves the team, comes back, they bring Nick it's like an NBA team.
That's the problem. Okay. I mean, look, I understand you can flip it, and every league is different. Every kind of flip is different, but it's really, really hard because you're taking, especially last year, it's a lot of those guys you took and somebody didn't want for a reason. Because remember, the 2-time transfers, people thought when they took them, they weren't going to be able to play. Right?
He's got to fight the rumor. He's got to fight the rumor of the prisoners are running the asylum, because that's the rumor of his program, and that's what he's got to fight. He's got to fix that.
Well, and Jeff, here's a real thing. That's going to be a problem at all of these places that are paying all this money, because what's an assistant coach going to say when the player makes more than him?
It's pretty tough.
Well, that's already happening. The problem is when you're paying this kind of money and you're not winning. You're not going to the tournament.
Right. I'm saying that's an issue with a lot of these programs that were like, why are they not? It's chemistry. It's all of this other stuff not having to do with basketball. And then, again, here's what this is the only part that I will side with you, Jeff, is like, that's the real coaching stuff to it. Like, there's not a ton, like, you don't coach nearly as high a percentage, but by now, if you haven't gotten them their roles, if you haven't created a culture and you're not playing better, well, now it's on you. Now it has nothing to do with the NIL, or it should.
Yeah, well, let me read a couple quick before we get to FAU. I just want to read a couple sound clips from Penny Hardaway earlier today after the loss. A lot of these kids haven't won. They said they wanted to come here and get to the NCAA tournament, but because they haven't won, maybe they're resorting back. We don't do this at Memphis. We don't go out like this.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.